Well, good evening and welcome to Behind the Curtain, where we pull back the cabbie curtain and show you the business aspect of this and how we partner with our hostesses, how we make money, and just all things business related. So I'm Rebecca Firking, styled by R, and Amy's going to hop on here in just a minute and introduce herself. But we love to collaborate together. This is just one of the many blessings of this business. We do Fashion Fridays with Style RX every single Friday. And so you can catch those live, or we've got the recording on our YouTube channel. And we just began this business conversation that we'll do monthly on the first and second Wednesday of the month, beginning in February. We've got an adjusted calendar schedule in January, but we'll definitely keep you looped in on that.
Yes, we do. And so my name is Amy Wolstenhume. I'm sure most of you that are on this conversation, you know us by now, because you wouldn't want to take a deep dive if you haven't met us, haven't joined our private group, or haven't joined us for anything else. So just as a refresher, I live just outside of Park City, Utah. I've been a stylist since 2006, but I did take a little break in there. And my Instagram page is at Street Style by Amy, and Rebecca said hers, like she said, is I'm Styled by R. So please follow us both. It's a really fun thing to do. Tonight, we really want to give you a brief overview of the business and what makes Cabi really unique in the marketplace, especially in the fashion marketplace, is that we are an omni-channel business. What does that mean? It means we're not just brick and mortar or just online. It means that we have the opportunity to do in-person shows with a group or one-on-one. We have our websites. We also have the technology such as Cabi Tap, which is a mobile app. Then we have our virtual show platform, which is actually, I call it the Peloton of retail shopping, because it is Cabi grown from the depths organically. It is our own platform, and it is unlike any other online shopping experience. And then our last one, now I just went blank, Rebecca, what would that be? So I covered Cabi Tap, front row, in-person experiences, as well as, there's one more I'm missing, there's 5, but I'm sure it'll come back to me. I got off on there for just a second. So tonight we're gonna talk about commission structure, and the other thing that makes Cabi really unique in the muddy waters of direct selling is that we do not get paid to recruit. We keep our stylist numbers very limited, and we can go anywhere and sell anywhere, but we always respect other people and the areas that they're in. So for example, there are a lot of direct sales companies with hundreds of thousands of stylists or consultants or whatever they want to call them. The United States, Canada, and the UK are the 3 countries that Cabi are in. And in total, there's 3,500 stylists. In Utah, there's only about 17 stylists. And where are you at in Kansas? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know for sure how many. I would say somewhere around 25 in the entire state. And that would include the Kansas City metro area, which is part of Missouri as well.
Yeah. So what makes that very unique is that we are not like Starbucks. We're not on every single corner. And Cabi does that on purpose. We actually have opportunity zones where if it's too full, they will actually waitlist people. So the reason we wanted to bring that up front is so that you understand that you are set up for success from the very get-go with Cabi. This is not a recruiting business. This is not something that everybody buys in for a discount. In fact, we don't discount our clothing other than our sample sales, and we will dive into that a little bit later. But
and
first,
hostess benefits.
Yes, well, and hostess benefits, but that I think is a little bit different because our hostesses are our partners. And so if they're working to help us earn a little money, the way that we're going to pay them is through that discount. So I really don't even consider that being a clearanced item, because our hostesses are getting brand new items. We're just rewarding them for helping us in our business. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And Rebecca, you're not on mute, so feel free to pop in on details as we go through this.
While Amy pulls that up, I'm just going to talk a little bit. I come from a direct sales background, and the primary reason that I am here today is because of the fact that we pay attention to demographics, and you can't just decide you want to be a stylist and then abracadabra, you're a stylist. There's an actual application process that we'll visit with you more in detail with, but we pay very close attention to demographics. And if you are not going to be able to have a viable business in an area, we don't accept you as a stylist. So that was very important to me.
Yes, thank you so much. And it was important to me too. I think a lot of people think of direct sales, and many people have kind of dabbled in different industries and they say they don't make any money. In fact, Jamie actually mentioned that last week in our overview. So before we get going, I want to show you where I'm at, because whether you're watching this and you're one of Rebecca's clients or you're one of mine, either way, you're going to go to our direct websites. And when you go there, so mine is the amyw.cabionline.com. Rebecca's would be rebecca.ferking.cabionline.
Mine is actually styled by our.
Okay, so you got them to change that. Okay, the default is our names. So thank you, Rebecca. What we're going to do is just kind of go over our business. So I clicked on Become a Stylist and then Stylist Opportunity. And the reason that I'm taking you there is so that if this is something you guys want to look over after we're done, this will show you where we're at. There's some really neat things on here, such as a quiz, which is going to talk about why would you be attracted to Cabi. There's some really fun things that you can do on here. But these are those 5 omni-channel businesses structures that I talked to you about. So we have our in-person Cabi fashion experiences. That's when you gather a group of friends, and that's really when both us as stylists make the most money and you as a hostess get the best discounts. Then we have Cabi Front Row, which is basically the virtual version of the Cabi fashion experience. Then you have the option of doing a private in-person styling session or even virtually one-on-one. And then our anytime services, the one I forgot was the Curated by Cabi. And that's basically a monthly shipment that you and your client initiate. There's no algorithms. It's not impersonal. It's something that you two decide how many items, what budget you want to cover, and then you initiate that as a stylist. Then we have our Cabi Tap and our online sales. So that is the 5 ways, or the 6 actual ways that help you earn income. So really, how do we earn an income? And this is where we're going to really dive in. The great thing about Cabi is that it is not confusing. We really only have 2 commission structures. We have your basic, which is your 25%, or your team builder bonus, which is 33%. But for just a moment, we're only going to concentrate on the 25%. And why is that 25% important? One thing that you need to know with Cabi is you do not need to have a huge team to make money. Rebecca, how many team members do you have currently?
1.
Amy, I have 1 as well. So that being said, that is also us taking that muddy water of direct sales and all of those recruiting things to a clear water of what I love about this is you are going to make money depending on how hard you work. It is not based on other people underneath you buying product or doing anything. What we consider that extra 8%, which is where you get the 33%, is truly a leadership bonus. So we'll talk about that in just a second, but really quick, your commission is
an important piece of that as well is there's many months that I hit that on my own. And yes. So you don't have to have a team to get that extra 8%.
Correct. And I've done that many times myself as well. So really it's 25%, which is really easy to calculate. So on our website, if you stay on this page, this is really cool. This is a planning calculator. So if you were to click on this calculator, it will actually take you to this screen and you can play with the calculator. Now this one, if you look at the fine print, is being based on if your commission structure, which does not include the hostess order or any discounted item, would be $1,800. And that's generally what they base it on, because that's the Cabi as a whole show average. So if you were going to do a show that was $1,800, I'm going to take this team member off because we just talked about making money on your own. If you were going to have a show of $1,800, times that by 25% commission, that's $450 per show, times by 4 shows a month, you are making $1,800 per month, which is so simple. 4 shows a month is 1 show a week. And so this is where I think you can also see that Cabi truly is set aside from any other direct sales company because there's no gimmicks. If your show average goes up, your commission goes up. If you double your shows, if you did 2 shows per week, your commission immediately jumps to $3,600. The cool thing is whether you hit the 24,000 minimum for that bonus builder or that team leader business, either by yourself or even with 1 team member, you will see that with 1 team member underneath, you're going to get a big jump. So it is really an easy business to make money. And I say that very carefully because we're not saying that being in business is easy. We're saying there's no gimmicks. So I just want to stop the share really quick and pause and see if either of you have a question on that breakdown of the 25 or the 33%.
Not yet.
Okay. So it really is very easy, and it's really easy to manipulate because you really are just 25 or 33. Now, if my sales alone hits the 24,000 in that month, then I automatically get an 8% bonus. If Rebecca and I are on the same team and I sell 14,000 and she sells 10,000 and I'm her team leader, that puts me total at 24,000. I still get that 8% bonus on my commission. What I get from her at that.
Fantastic.
It's amazing. So let me tell you the difference. Let's just say at 24,000 on my own sales, I do this by myself, I get 33%. I'm making $7,920 that month. I've had to work pretty hard to do that by myself. However, chances are I'm doing at least 8 shows a month to get there. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Probably 2 a week. Now, if Rebecca is selling 10,000 and I'm selling 14, I would be then making 4,620 on my own sales. But my commission from her now goes from 3% to 8%. So I'm making $800 on her. Now it's not as much as if I reach it by myself, but it did get me to my higher commission level on myself. And maybe I stayed at 4 shows a month. So that's where we really want you to see that it's a leadership bonus, because on the grand scale of things, you make money based off how hard you work.
Yeah. And everybody has the opportunity to make that, and nothing is taken away. So as a team member, you're making the same commissions as I am making and have the same potential. You're not, there's no ceilings here. It's all very clear cut.
There's also no elitists in Cabi, which is so cool. I'm on a call every Friday with the executive founder of Cabi. I have been on the floor laughing with her over who she thought her celebrity boyfriend was in high school. So there's none of that, like, we've been doing this pyramid scheme, you could never reach here. It really is, everybody has that starting baseline. And I think that's so cool. All you need to get started is a network, and that network will grow with every single show. You need the desire to do something, and then you're surrounded. You are never alone in this business. Rebecca and I are also going to team up through the spring season and probably moving forward once a month on a team call, so that our first season freshmen, our second season team leaders, whatever, feel like you already have a community surrounding you with support. So from the get-go, you are not going to be alone in this business at all.
Yeah, Cabi goes above and beyond to provide training to us. And there's, I mean, a plethora of different training opportunities for you. But our goal for this is to give you a real, a touch point, and to feel like you are enveloped even more. So you're going to be part of a larger group of incoming, what we call freshmen in your first season, that you're going to be able to bounce ideas back and forth on. But this is going to give you a really safe environment to maybe voice some things that you wouldn't want to say on a larger call.
Well, and also as far as training goes, that'll be our next thing that we jump into. If you watched our video from last week, Gina mentioned that the training begins and ends where you're at. So as an incoming freshman, we have this training called the Scoop. So we'll get into that next. And all of your classes are custom. They're so, I mean, Cabi's been around for 19 years. So this training has been worked and reworked and reworked. And the cool thing is everything that Cabi creates comes from a stylist point of view, including our front row platform. Our founders still meet their minimums and still do shows. They may not have to do a lot to meet their quota, but they are still required to do a show. So from our perspective, everything is based on what our needs are now, what's the environment, how are we staying relevant. And so our training is unlike any other. It is like the diamonds of hands-on learning, and it's so cool. So why don't I share my screen one more time? And let's see, I'll just keep it on participants. Okay, I'm going to take us back to my website. And I'm just going to keep scrolling down. We'll come back and talk about should we wait on the training, Rebecca, and hurry and jump into sample cells?
Since this is next on the website, let's just bounce into it and cover that real quick.
Okay, so we just talked about commission. The other way, there's 3 ways we make money. It's commission, sample cells, recouping our initial investment, and then the third way is that leadership bonus. So we've already covered the leadership and the commission structure. So this third way is through our sample cells. Every season, there's an initial investment. And at the end of every season, Cabi allows us to sell each item off at 50% off retail. So if you have a pencil, write this down really quick. At the initial full collection investment, you'll see it right here. It is $2,500 every 6 months. You get the entire collection, which retail value is $10,000 or more. If you were to sell at least 70% of that collection, you will make back $3,500, which is what we consider that recouping of your initial. So you'll see you initially invest $2,500, you're going to make $3,500 back. That leaves you $1,000 for the next line in the next season. Now, Cabi's made a little bit of changes to this introductory collection, and we will let you know. But as it is right now, if you were to apply to be a stylist tomorrow, you would have 2 different options for an introductory collection. If you wanted to jump in now and try and sell through February, you have this option of $1,000 buy-in. It's actually going away, but it's still available now. I think Rebecca and I would both tell you, you wouldn't even need to invest in this. You could just let them know you were going to line share and do everything virtually. So that means you wouldn't even have this initial investment. But if you did, and you sold that 70%, you would make back approximately $2,100. Now, the one going into spring, they were only providing the first 4 collections of the entire collection, but they've done a few focus groups, few trial and error. As we said, everything comes from the stylist perspective. And they found that instead of providing the full 4 first groups, they would actually provide partial groups of the entire collection. But that would take your initial investment from $1,000 up to $1,250, so $1,250. But that retail price is going to be a little bit more as well. And then you would make back probably a little bit more than the $2,100. They will be updating this for the spring. The reason that Rebecca and I really want to talk to you about this $1,000 investment, Cabi has what they call a Go for Growth. And you have until the end of February to earn a $500 bonus. But you would have to apply as a fall 20 stylist.
You have to apply prior to December 25th.
Yes.
So you can apply by December 25th and say you're not going to start until spring. That's okay. I just had a stylist do that. But you do, to capitalize on the Go for Growth, which is going away after December 25th, you're not going to get that $500 bonus anymore. You do have to apply now.
But either way, if you apply now and you say, you know what, I really just want we call it the apprentice season where there are no minimums. It's kind of a trial season to really help you grow. Then you can bypass the $500 and just say that you want to start as a spring 21. So that part is something that you and I or Rebecca and whoever could have an in-depth conversation. We don't want to confuse you on that. It's really just what we want to say is that your initial investment is very easy to recoup. How do we do this? The smartest strategy is all season long. Whoever hosts shows for you also gets first pick of the litter. So every time I do a show, I let my hostess know, okay, you're earning this many hostess benefits off the show sales. However, let's say you want 10 items and you only earned 5 at 50% off. I have a sheet, an inventory sheet of all of the samples from my sample line. And if they have 5 other items they want at 50% off, I'm going to let them pre-buy. And Kelsey knows how this works because she's done it with me for several seasons. But I let them pre-buy the individual pieces off of my line at 50% off. And as soon as they say they want it, it is considered sold. And then at the end of the season, they send me a Venmo. And guess what? They get that item after I'm done using it. So I start selling my samples off as soon as I start having shows. February 1st, my samples are getting sold off so that come June, my sample line is gone. Does that make sense for both of you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's hurry and move on to how does Cabi support us? We kind of already talked about this. We have our tools. We have our website and app that we do not pay any fee for. Cabi Front Row, we do not pay anything for it. The digital and printed marketing materials, you pay for what you use. So if you want lookbooks, you do buy those. It is a tax write-off. They also give the hostess really good benefits and sales incentives. How do we grow our business? We have a virtual training program. Now this is going right into Scoop that we were talking about before. There's a virtual training platform. We also hopefully will be back in person, but in January it will be virtual, and it's very, very cool. It's called The Scoop because they're giving us all the insider information on the fashion industry. It is with other stylist events. Our design team is there. Our marketing team is there. The Cabi executive team is there. It is unbelievable. And that is also where in person, as you see on my screen, we get the clothes revealed to us on a real fashion show. And I get goosebumps even saying it, but one of the coolest things is that our runway models are real runway models that do shows for other major designers. This is a real fashion show. So the virtual one is a little different because of the quarantining and the social distancing, but hopefully by July we'll be in person in Denver. So that will be really cool.
And those trainings are mandatory. That is another thing that sets our culture apart. And I feel like that's important for us to retain the culture that we have. We do have 2 mandatory trainings in person, usually each year. And we have all the dates for those. So if you need to take a look at those with your calendar and know what your I guess, commitment on those are, we can get the dates for you.
Yes. The cool thing about the virtual platform is we do have access to it for 30 days after, but it's mandatory you are there during the actual live events. The dedicated home office support is another way that I think Cabi is very, very unique. Our clients never, ever, ever, ever have to call a 1-800 number. You are their stylist. You are their go-to. Now, as a stylist, there are going to be situations where we need help. We do not have to call a 1-800 number either. So what's really cool is we all have dedicated Cabi account managers that help us one-on-one. They know us. They know our history. They know that, how to help us. I've had some pretty extreme examples this season. In particular, FedEx lost an entire show's worth of clothing. And instead of my client having to be on with FedEx, instead of me having to be on with FedEx, I called my Cabi account manager. She initiated everything, and Cabi replaced every single item from that show. My clients were taken care of. Everything was expedited to them individually. And I will tell you, it was a large show and a lot of inventory, and Cabi took care of them immediately. And I've been with this company since 2006. I can honestly tell you that brought tears to my eyes. It reiterated how amazing and incredible this company is and how they do everything they can to support our businesses. I didn't have to put in a ticket with FedEx, nothing. My Cabi account manager just took the lead and helped me out. So such a huge, huge thing for us. How is Cabi changing lives? Well, Yvonne, you're a new shopper with Cabi. And I know that you felt immediately beautiful and comfortable when you've put your Cabi clothes on. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Kelsey's been doing this for a long time. We truly feel like if a woman feels her best, she can perform her best. Now, whether that's a stay-at-home mom that's in really comfy clothes where she can throw her kids in the car and run to Costco, or a business professional that has to be able to put on a blazer, look her best, present something to a huge corporation or someone in the middle. Maybe it's a doctor, maybe it's a lawyer. I know, Yvonne, you are in a stressful job with the IRS. Kelsey is also super busy with her full-time job. So here's some statistics for you that are really, really neat. 12 women founded this company in 2001. So we've been around long enough. We are tried and true. We made it through the economic crash of 2008, 9, and 10. Our product has always been amazing. There are 2 full collections that we get a year, and they are 100% new inventory. So women constantly come back. They want to know what we have. As I mentioned earlier, we are in the United States, Canada, and the UK. There are 50% of the stylists that work a full or a part-time job alongside of Cabi. And we have an 85% retention rate in the industry. I want to show you something really interesting. And I don't know if you've ever looked up direct sales income disclosure statements, but you can find that on any company online. The reason I want to show you this is it shows you what the average for spring and fall 19 was. If you look right here, the average for the stylist per year was $22,068. That's the average. So it does include the high sellers and the low sellers, but the money is real. If you look at any other direct sales company, it might be $2,000 a year.
Well, the other piece of that is the retention rate. That retention rate is unprecedented in the direct sales industry. Industry-wide, it's less than 25%. So the fact that we have such a high retention rate is huge.
And that goes to the fact that our investment does cost a little bit to get going. But anytime you have an investment that you're buying into, you're going to work the business. You're going to make money. And I don't know about you guys, but I love that I can't have a customer call me up and just say, I need you to get me this at 50% off. That's what a lot of people do when their friends buy makeup. That's what a lot of us do. Like, I know I've bought into companies just so I get the discount, and I don't even sell the product. It's worth paying the $80 or whatever their buy-in fee is to get the discount on something I really like forever. But with Cabi, the best way to get a discount with us is to support our businesses and host a show. So not only are you appeasing the women that really, really love Cabi, that are willing to have a show for you, you are also building a long-term clientele base that will come back season after season. Yvonne, Kelsey, I'm going to stop sharing really quick for just a second. Kelsey her mom was my client probably 12 years ago. Yeah. I met her mom through one of my college friends, and they came to my show and bought I think her mom bought like one t-shirt or something, and then came back in 6 months to the next season and maybe bought 1 or 2 items. And then the next season came back and was like, well, maybe I'll host a show. I was like, great. So I have known Kelsey now for almost 14 years. And that is the kind of long-term clientele base that we have an opportunity to build, because we have an amazing product. We build real relationships, and we get 100% new inventory season after season. And our hostess benefits are so incredible that once someone hosts, they don't not want to host again. Right, Kelsey? Kelsey, do you mind unmuting and just giving an example? Because Yvonne is interested in hosting for sure this spring, if anything. Do you want to just give a client's perspective on anything that you've heard tonight that resonates with you, or an experience that you've had?
Sure.
Or why you host?
Not to put you on the spot or anything, Kelsey.
Yeah. No. Like I host every season because I love the clothes, and the benefits are so huge. I overspend every season because the benefits are so good when you host, and it's so nice to be able to do that. But then now I have like friends. I think one season I was pregnant or something, I wasn't gonna host, and my friends were like, "You have to, like, we have to go. We need clothes." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But they didn't want to host. But I tried to talk them into it.
Well, and that's the great thing. We're going to have, as a stylist, we really have 3 different clientele bases. We have our retail clients. Some of them do not ever want to host. They don't want to deal with it. They would rather pay full retail. Yvonne, that's where you've been this season. It's just like, let me try out some pieces. I can budget for this. I really like it. Let me figure out what this is about. Then we have our hostess bases, which either really initially comes from someone that we say, can you support me? I want to start this business. Or somebody that was a retail client that's like, okay, I like this enough. I need to start budgeting. And the best way to do that is let me get some at a discount. And then we have people that maybe can't afford anything retail, maybe don't know enough people to, or maybe they're scared to host. So they will wait and just shop our sample cells. All 3 of those client bases are really important to our business. So the third one, however, at least in my business, we can all work this differently. They don't get a shot at my sample cells until after my hostesses and then after my retail clients. So by the time my sample cells come around, there's not a lot for them to buy if I'm doing this strategically. Would you agree with that, Rebecca?
100%. Yes.
So the benefit there is also strategic, because if they're going to want Cabi at a discount, they're probably going to be open to hosting a show. At least try it out. Or maybe they buy one shirt that they really love. They're going to get my email on the retail, to my retail clients when I open that sample cell up to them. Okay, the last really cool part, would you say would be our We Are Cabi, our Heart of Cabi Foundation?
Yes, and that's something that's really near and dear to my heart. Our We Are Cabi program was actually established in 2005, and that foundation, to date, we've donated $59 million in clothing to women in need. We've provided over 17,000 small business loans. Over 5,500 students have been educated the last 2 seasons. So that's huge. And then 62 countries are impacted. Now, we also started the We Are Cabi program, and that launched in spring of 15, which is when I applied to be a stylist. And that's a micro lending and mentorship program that we've partnered up with Opportunity International on. And we provide small business loans for women entrepreneurs in developing countries so that they can get their business off the ground or continue to build their business past what they've been able to do. And every new stylist with Cabi is, there's a micro loan that's funded in her name by Cabi, and you also have a sister entrepreneur. So you're paired up with her and they give you information about who she is and what her business is. It is just phenomenal. I absolutely love it.
Rebecca, should we play this for them really quick?
Sure.
Okay, here's this really cool video about it. I'm going to stop the share really quick because, gosh, I don't know. I'm getting choked up.
You're not the only one.
So this We Are Cabi program actually started when we started funding the small business loans for the other women, started after I became a stylist. So I had to earn, my sister entrepreneur, I had to earn that loan for her. So when I got it for Juanita. And we all get a personal bio on whoever we get to fund a loan for. I guess why I'm choked up is Cabi is not a company of numbers. It truly is a company of relationships. Whether it's the way Rebecca and I met, whether it's Kelsey and I's relationship over 12 years, or Yvonne, yours and I is new, but it's been so fun already. I get to see you through social media, and I know that you're an incredible cook and you love to hike and you have the cutest dog and the cutest kids. And it's real. That is why Rebecca and I have tried so hard to serve our clients outside of the show, because we don't want to just see them every 6 months. We love that connection. There is nothing here that we've talked to you about tonight that feels false to me, ever. I could not do this since 2006 if there wasn't anything that didn't completely give me goosebumps, from the fashion show to the training that we have to the relationships that we build. And whether you guys decide becoming a stylist is right for you or not, that truly does not matter. What matters to us is that it's right for you. And if and when that's a decision that comes to you, then you should know that you've already got 4 giant arms in Rebecca and I, because we both have long arms, ready to wrap around you and, you know, help you be successful and impact other women. And I think that's the one thing in my life I've learned, is that everyone has a story. And sometimes those stories are hard. Sometimes they're hard to talk about. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes they're a lot of fun. And I can tell you, I've done everything from cry at a show, to laugh at a show, to dress up in a Halloween costume, to, you know, finding women that I never knew I would find in my life. And so if it's something that feels right, and you're either watching this live or you catch this on the recording, please reach out to either Rebecca and I, and let's have a conversation on the phone. We do not want to steer you into anything that would not be an addition to your life. Now, running any business, there's going to be some stresses with that. There's going to be the fear of learning it. There's going to be the fear of, can I do this? But most stylists that give themselves 3 to 4 seasons continue on and on and on. And it's a building business. Rebecca?
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth on the building business. It truly is. And if you are, if you have a heart for others, and a willingness to put forth some effort, this can be a very successful business for you. And there are definite advantages for you making that decision prior to December 25th. However, you would never be pushed into a decision if it's not right for you. So just know that if you're like, oh my gosh, yes, this is me, I need this in my life, then we will be here to support you. If you're thinking, I need a little bit more time, we are here to support you.
Yeah, I was a hostess for 3 seasons before I mean, my team leader would never even say anything about it. I mean, back then the company was only 2 years old, and I kind of had to prod it out of her. I was like, how do you become a stylist? I've already sold Zango juice and everything else. I know I can sign up, but you haven't said anything. And so
I was a hostess for 9 or 10 seasons or 9 or 10 years. So 20 seasons before I became a stylist.
Well, and if you know me, you know that I built this business up and left it for 5 years, and I built it back up again. So it's a very viable business. It's one that can happen as slowly as you want it to, or one that you completely jump into. There's a lot of stylists across the country, and actually in Canada as well, you guys, that they are so locked down. I have some friends in California, their entire business this season has been virtual. So the great thing about Cabi is not only is it flexible, one thing that is taught from the very get-go is to block your calendar out and always put your other priorities first. And I teach my team not to compromise on those things. If my sons had football games and somebody wanted a Friday night show, I was unapologetically just saying, I'm sorry, I don't do shows on Friday. And Kelsey can vouch for that. I will not compromise my family for what if, I mean, this is no different than going to a dentist's office or a hair salon. People will schedule out 6 months in advance because they want to see the next line. You set your schedule first. You decide how you want to run your business, and you have all the tools. We just saw 6 ways that we are supported. And the only thing we pay for is our initial investment. And that covers everything other than the supplies that we use. And maybe if we have to fly to Scoop. So are there any questions for you guys? This is when you get to say, okay, reel this back. It went a little quick. Let's dive in and answer any questions.
So I have a question.
Okay.
So on the line that you buy, do we get to choose the size or does it come random?
Well, it's a 2-part answer. So
okay.
Every stylist gets the exact same line. So if you buy in at the full 2,500, you're going to get the same collection and sizes that Rebecca gets, that I get, that Kelsey would get. If you buy in at the 1,250, that's the same for everyone that buys in at the 1,250 or the $1,000. Now, that being said, there are definite discounts that you earn, and that we didn't cover that, Rebecca. So your first season, Cabi is going to give you so many items at 50% off. And that's going to help you supplement sizes. So let's say you get your line, Yvonne, and there's like 6 things that fit in your size. You can choose to keep those at the end of the season, or you can choose to sell them off. Or maybe you have jeans that you really love, but you're missing some jackets. You can then use those 50% off discounts to get a jacket in your size. And that's what we call our supplements. So, and then the second season moving forward, they've changed it to 18,000 now, but generally it's 24,000. If you sell 24,000 in one season, then you're actually going to earn some items at 65% off to help you reinvest. So yes, you do get to pick your sizes, but it's in addition to the main line. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
You get to pick your supplement sizes. The regular collection is set. And I will say that our design team has done a fantastic job of, so you're always going to have some garments that fit similar to another garment on the line. And so they do a good job of making sure you've got a small, a medium, a large. I would say that if you have, like I have several extra large and 16 size clients, and those are what I normally supplement more of than anything else, because we have a great selection, and there's many, many stylists that just run with the line that Cabi sends us, and they don't supplement at all.
They also have just a base of our extended sizes, the 18s, 20s, and extra, extra larges that I think you can buy. It's like 7 pieces for $250. I've done that the last 2 seasons. I have a hard time selling those off because I don't have a lot of clients in that size range. So I'm really thinking strategically this spring, and I don't think I will. Instead, if there's a jean that fits a past season jean that's in that size that I know is going to fit similar, I'm going to bring a past season item and size them off that and just say, I'm using this for size only. It's going to fit just like this one. And I can kind of, even if I didn't sell it off and get my 50% back on that piece, it's going to help me maybe sell a piece without reinvesting. So there's a lot of strategic ways that I can help you with that when that time comes. But as Rebecca said, our design team is very strategic in how they size. And they will give us like, for example, what jacket was it? They usually always provide like one jacket that has a duplicate size. So they'll give us a small and a large, and then like a trouser that's a small, you know, that so that size range can put on the full outfit. And so that's also how we'll help you supplement, is if like, let's say there's a woman, you know, that's going to love this, that will buy every sample you have, bring her over when you get your line, have her help you size, and she can start reserving. You know, if somebody's going to do you a favor and help you, you can order those supplements in her size and automatically put her name on them for the end of the season, and they're already sold before you even buy them. So there's a lot of ways to kind of invest and recoup. Not only that, you work for the IRS. We have a lot of tax incentives that we get to write off because this is our line. We're writing off anything that we use to build our business, whether it's accessories to run our business. I mean, of course, it's a CPA thing. You need to have that conversation because we would never advise you on those things. I have a CPA that's very strict with me, but we have our mileage, we have office space, any of those traditional business write-offs, you can do that. So it's a great way to invest and have some additional write-offs with the IRS.
So I have another question. So if I would, so you get your line, right? That's various sizes that you use to do your shows throughout the season. And then how about like the clothes because you want to be wearing the Cabi clothes too, right? Because that's kind of how you sell it. So do you buy those with those discounts that you got from the previous season? Is that how you purchase yours?
You can, but the best thing to do is to try everything on the line first. And, or if like, okay, you've already bought this season, so you know your Cabi size. It's not going to vary much from season to season. There might be one piece that runs a little bigger, a little smaller, and you're like, oh, I might, you know, like our black skinny jean this season, I usually wear one size. I needed to go up a little bit because I blessed with booty. But those are things like if you try everything, like this line had a lot of size small jackets, like this Spencer jacket came in a size small. That is my true size. So you might want to decide that's a piece I really love and I want to keep. There's no sense in buying a duplicate in that size. You'll just put your name on that sample and not sell it at the end of the season, and you can wear it out all you want. If there is something you really, really love that's not in your size on the line and you know you're going to love it and you're going to wear it as like a show uniform piece, use a discount and buy it. Absolutely. And the other way you can get discounts, you can be the hostess of your own show as a stylist. So let's say you used all the discounts that Cabi gave you to start your business, and you're going to do a show out of your house, which actually I recommend once a month anyway, whether it's through the virtual platform or in your own home. If you get $1,000 in sales on that show, you get 5 more items. So at 50% off, you don't lose those hosts. I mean, you get the same hostess benefits as a stylist as any other person.
And
So,
I will just say that that's how I did a bunch to begin with when I was initially just starting as a stylist, because you are limited on your number of discounted items that you can buy from Cabi as a stylist. And that's very intentional too, because we want you to have a profitable business. When you're profitable, you're going to stick around. And so everything we do is to help you have that profitable business. And buying 30 things is not a great choice when you're starting out. And so you're limited. But as a hostess, you can sure get those 50% off discounts. And that's, I still to this day, I host every month on my own. And that is just something that it kind of forces me to remember, oh, hey, you saw such and such, invite them, or it just keeps you in front of your people.
or if you have somebody, let's say Kelsey was my hostess and she had a guest that couldn't make it to the show and really wanted to try this stuff on, you could do a follow-up and say, that's okay. I'm having a show in the middle of next month on the 15th. If you've already got it planned out, it's a really quick follow-up for somebody that missed a show. You can say, hey, I'm holding a show myself. You're more than welcome to come, or I can Zoom you or do it virtually and we can put your order on that show. So that's a really good way as well. So the cool thing is, before the 12 founders of this company, which by the way, they all still sell, I think I mentioned that, before they ever decided to bring stylists aboard, they did this themselves for a year and a half. And they went through and figured out, how do we not become a direct sales company where the only way to make money is to recruit people? Because they knew that was going to be a means to an end eventually. And how do we make this so that there's a profit margin by the end of the season, even if they didn't do one show? And that's where they came up with this. If we invest into a line, they need to be able to sell it off and make a profit, right? I mean, even if you didn't do one show at all, it would be harder to sell your samples, obviously, because you don't have the client base to sell them to. But you can make a profit at the end by doing nothing if all you did was buy that one line and sell it off.
But you won't be coming back the next season as a stylist.
You won't be coming back. We do have minimums. They're not, what's the other cool thing is, your first full year, your monthly minimum is only $2,500 in sales. And think about how much you've spent on like one order. Some people might buy 1 or 2 items. That's usually the average at a show, is 2 to 3 items. But it's easy to hit that if you're working 4 shows a month. And you have a full year to build that up, plus your apprentice season, depending on, so really you have 3 seasons to build that up. And then your 3rd, 4th, and 5th season, it's $3,500 a month. So it's not hard to meet those minimums. It's really doable. And that was the other reason they want women that are actually going to work the business. They don't want you to, and that's why we consider it a leadership bonus, because if we lead you well, if we help you succeed, then that's no different than a manager getting a little more money for leading a really good team in a bank or at the IRS or whatever else. You're getting paid to make sure that they're doing really well. So it's totally different, and it works whether you have a team or not. That's what's cool about it. So yeah, you can plan your samples out however you want. You can keep as many of them if you want. When Rebecca says you're limited, they allow us to get 2 of the same item at that discount for that reason. They do not expect us to buy extra inventory and then sell it off. This is not a wholesale thing. Everything gets shipped straight from Cabi. You never even have to go pick something up and return it unless maybe a little old lady bought from you and you want to serve her well. You can go do it and return it for her. I live an hour away from everyone, so nobody has a problem just printing off the return. But this is not something where you have to carry any extra inventory than what they give you. You can be successful with that baseline. Any other questions?
I think that's all I had. Thank you.
I would just say, take some time and really think, and then why don't we do a follow-up phone call? You can either say, you know what, this is not something for me. Or after I hung up, I had a couple extra questions. Or, you know, and if you did want to apply, you go right where you were on my website. I can always text you the link. If you're following the recording and you're Rebecca's client, she can text you the direct link as well. And there is a waiting period because they will check availability in your area to make sure that it's not too saturated, which in Utah, you shouldn't have any issues at all. As I said, I think there might be 17 of us, but you do have a 2-week waiting period. So this is, again, is not like something you can sign up and just get a discount, which it makes my heart happy. They have never changed that.
And never will. I had very candid conversations with several of our different founders before I decided, okay, I'm doing this. And that is a very base belief throughout our company that's the way it's always going to be.
I also want to say this really quick. Anytime you start something new, you're going to see all of the pieces of what everybody has established. Social media, different things. When I started this business in 2006, I had nothing but a cell phone, paper invitations, paper order sheets, and a way to enter the orders. And the business worked just as well for me then as it does now. So this is not something.
It's more efficient now, though.
It is more efficient, 100%. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to worry about anything but the nuggets of the business. So this first season, if you start and you're like, whoa, I can't do an Instagram page, or that's just, you know, don't do one. Wait till the next season and add another little nugget when you're comfortable. There's a lot of things. The only thing
my team leader sells over $100,000 worth of Cabi every single season, and she doesn't have an Instagram page, and she has a personal Facebook page, but doesn't know how to do a business one. So it is not necessary to be successful to have all the social media ins and outs.
So at her team leader's bottom line, at 33% commission, she's making 66 grand a year without anything if it was just herself. And I say that because, as again, it is a real business. It's one that takes some time to build and takes some time to work, but it's yours to run. So no gimmicks at all. You guys, I'm so excited that you both joined us tonight.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
To tell you, I have enjoyed getting to know you so much, Yvonne, and I can't wait to actually meet you in person because I'm a hugger. I will ask you if you're comfortable with that, of course.
Yeah, I can't wait to get more clothes.
I know. Well, let's have a conversation. If you want to hold off on becoming a stylist and you just want to book your spring show, we can do that. If not, we can dive in and get you the clothes yourself. So you think about it. Just be in touch with me and communicate, and we'll go at your speed.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks.
Bye.